It was a humid Friday evening. The sun had just slipped behind the rooftops of Ogbomoso town. Mornike was closing her mother's shop, arranging yams and peppers back inside, when a calm but strange voice drifted from behind her. "Young girl, please, what is your name?" She turned. A man stood there, tall, dressed in a fading brown agbada, his eyes too pale for his dark face. Startled, Mornike hesitated. "Why are you asking?" she muttered. The man smiled faintly. "I just want to know. Names carry sweetness." Uneasy, she walked away without replying. But not 10 minutes later, as she finished locking up, the man appeared again. "Forgive me, child. What is your name? I keep forgetting." Her heart thudded. She grabbed her bag and hurried home, ignoring him. That night, after eating umla, she told her cousin Deo about the strange encounter. He laughed. "Maybe he's just a madman. Why are you shaking?" Mornike forced a smile. But when the wall clock struck midnight, her body froze in her sleep. Her eyes opened, but she could not move. Her lips quivered, yet no sound came out. The window rattled violently, though the night was still. A low voice whispered from every corner of the room, "Tell me your name, only your name." She tried to scream for her mother, but her breath caught in her throat. A shadow stretched from the ceiling down to her bed. It leaned close, though it had no face, only an endless mouth. Suddenly her chest released. She gasped, sat up, and cried out. But her room was silent again. By morning her skin felt icy. On her left arm was a fresh scratch, thin but bleeding slightly. She remembered nothing sharp touching her. At dawn, she went with her mother to a local herbalist, Baba Alamu, whose compound was filled with kola nuts and old carved statues. Without greeting, he stared at her. "You were called," he said, "and you almost answered." Mornike's mother knelt, panicking. "Baba, help my daughter." He dropped 3 cowries into a calabash of water. Instead of floating, they sank and spun like trapped birds. The water darkened instantly. "That man you saw, he was no man. He is Akand, the Nameless One. He was denied burial when he died in chains long ago. His spirit cannot enter the world of the dead. So he seeks names to wear, like cloth, so he can live again. And once you give him your name, your life is no longer yours." Mornike's voice trembled. "So what will happen to me?" The old man's eyes were heavy. "You have already been marked. He will return again, not for your name this time, but for your blood." Mornike swallowed hard. "Baba, you mean he will come again?" Baba Alamu's voice was low. "Yes, tonight. He always returns 3 times. First for your name, then for your blood, then for your breath. If you survive all 3, he cannot touch you again." Her mother's knees weakened. She clutched Mornike's arm. "My daughter cannot fight spirits, Baba. Please help us." The old man stood and pulled a raffia basket from the corner of his hut. Inside was a small clay pot filled with ashes and palm oil. He dipped his finger in and drew a dark mark across Mornike's forehead. "Tonight," he instructed, "you must not sleep in a bright place. Do not pray aloud. Do not cover yourself with cloth. And no matter what he says, do not speak your name." Mornike nodded, though her chest felt tight with fear. That night silence swallowed their compound. Even the usual sound of crickets seemed far away. At exactly 1 a.m., the wind howled, pushing against the wooden shutters. Mornike lay awake on her mat, heart thundering. Then she heard it, a soft knock on the window. 3 knocks, slow, deliberate. Mornike! Her stomach turned to stone. She had not told him her name. How did he know? She shut her eyes tight, refusing to move. But the voice came again, louder, echoing from inside the room though the door was locked. "Mornike, let me borrow your blood. Just a drop. Only a drop, and I will leave you in peace." Her lips quivered. Every muscle screamed to shout for her mother. But she remembered Baba's warning. Silence was her only shield. The mat beneath her feet grew damp. She opened her eyes slightly. Red liquid was seeping across the floor toward her, thick like blood. The air turned hot and heavy, pressing against her chest. The shadow appeared again, this time larger, its arms stretching from wall to wall. It bent close, whispering in 100 voices at once. Say yes. Say your name. Give me your blood. Mornike's breath caught. She bit her tongue to stop herself from crying out. Her eyes stung with tears. Suddenly, the mark Baba Alamu drew on her forehead began to glow faintly. The shadow hissed, retreating as if burned. The room snapped silent. Mornike gasped, clutching her chest. Her nightclothes were soaked in sweat. But when she looked down at her arm, she saw a small cut, deeper than before, trickling blood. By dawn, she rushed back to Baba Alamu's hut with her mother. He stared at the wound and shook his head. You resisted well, but he is not finished. The third time he will not knock, he will not whisper. He will try to take your very breath. If you fall asleep tomorrow night, you may never wake up again. Mornike's heart sank. Then what do I do? Baba Alamu closed his eyes, his voice heavy. You must walk into the forest at midnight and stand before the silk cotton tree. There he will come for you. But only courage will keep you alive. If you run, he owns you. If you speak, he owns you. If you faint, he owns you. Only if you stand still will the dawn reclaim your soul. Mornike felt the ground shift beneath her feet. Could she survive one more night? The night came faster than Mornike wanted. The whole day her hands trembled. Even when she tried to help her mother cook, the knife almost slipped. Neighbors whispered, "Why is Mama Risi's daughter walking around with chalk marks on her face?" But her mother ignored them. She only pressed Mornike's hand tight and muttered prayers under her breath. By 11:40 p.m., Mornike was already on her way to the forest. Baba Alamu walked beside her, holding a small lantern. Her mother trailed behind, whispering, "My child, please be strong." The bush was alive with shadows. Frogs croaked, owls hooted, and the night air carried the smell of damp earth. Finally, they reached the silk cotton tree. Its trunk was so wide that 10 men could not circle it. Its branches stretched like giant arms against the moonlight. Baba Alamu stopped and placed the lantern at Mornike's feet. "This is where you will wait. Alone." Her mother's voice broke. "Baba, must she be alone? She's only a girl." Baba Alamu's face was stern. "If we stay, he will not come. The spirit wants her, not us." Mornike's heart pounded. She wanted to scream, to run back home, to hide under her bed. But she remembered the cuts on her arm, the whispers in the night, the frozen fear in her chest. Running wouldn't save her. The old man and her mother stepped back into the darkness. The lantern flame flickered weakly, making her shadow stretch long across the ground. At exactly 12 a.m., the air shifted. The crickets stopped. Even the wind died. From behind the massive trunk, a figure began to emerge. It was the same man from the shop, but taller now, his agbada sweeping the earth like smoke. His eyes glowed pale white, and when he spoke, the leaves of the silk cotton tree shivered. Mornike! Her knees trembled, but she remembered Baba Alamu's warning. Stand still. The man's smile widened unnaturally. His teeth were long and sharp. You refused to give me your name. You refused to give me your blood. But tonight, I will take your breath. He raised a long skeletal hand. The air around her grew thin. Her lungs burned as if invisible fingers were squeezing her chest. She gasped, but no air entered. Her vision blurred. The shadow leaned closer, its mouth opening wider and wider until it was nothing but darkness. Mornike's body screamed to run. Her spirit screamed to shout. But she dug her toes into the earth and stood frozen, clutching the hem of her wrapper. The shadow hissed, circling her, its voice echoing in her bones. Breathe, breathe for me. Let me in. Her lips turned blue, her chest ached, and her eyes rolled back. Just when she thought she would collapse, the first rooster crowed in the village. Kokoroku! The darkness shrieked, twisting violently like smoke in the wind. The pale man's face melted, revealing nothing but a gaping void. He screamed her name one last time. Mornike! Then, as the first light of dawn touched the silk cotton tree, the spirit vanished, leaving only the echo of its rage. Mornike fell to her knees, gasping, her breath finally returning. But when she looked down, her palms were blackened as though fire had touched them. Baba Alamu rushed forward and caught her before she hit the ground. His eyes were grave. "You survived. But child, this fight is not over. You did not give him your name, nor your blood, nor your breath. But spirits like him are stubborn. He will search for another way." Mornike's mother wailed, holding her daughter tight. But Mornike looked past them, toward the fading night sky. Deep inside her, she knew the spirit had not gone far. The dawn after the silk-cotton encounter, the villagers began to whisper. Chickens had died mysteriously. A newborn baby refused to cry, and every mirror in 3 houses cracked before sunrise. Some said Mornike had angered the gods. Others claimed she was cursed. Children pointed at her blackened palms and ran away. But Baba Alamu shook his head. The spirit is restless. He failed to take her, so he is searching for another door. That evening, as Mornike and her mother fetched water, they heard a voice drift across the stream. "Deo, Deo, come." Mornike's blood ran cold. It was calling her cousin's name now. She dropped her calabash and ran to Baba Alamu. He listened carefully, then spoke. "The Nameless One is clever. He cannot claim you, so he seeks the ones close to you. If Deo answers, he will not see another sunrise." Mornike's eyes filled with tears. "What do we do?" Baba's voice was firm. "Tonight you must protect him. But remember, this is the final gate. The spirit will use every trick, every voice, every shadow. If either of you answers, it is finished." That night, Mornike and Deo sat inside their grandmother's hut. A single lantern burned low. The walls creaked as if under pressure. At 3 a.m., the air grew colder. The flame bent sideways though no wind entered. Then the voice came. "Mornike, Deo." "It is me, Mama. Open the door, my children." Deo shivered. "That's Mama's voice. She's outside." Mornike grabbed his hand, her eyes fierce. "No. Mama is asleep inside her room. Do not answer." The voice shifted, deeper, harsher. "Mornike, Deo, it is Baba Alamu. Quickly, bring water. I am dying." Deo stood halfway, panic in his eyes. "What if it's true?" Mornike pulled him down. "Sit. It's not him." The shadow seeped under the door, stretching across the floor. It rose like smoke into the shape of the pale-eyed man. His teeth gleamed. "Children, why do you resist? Just one name, just one word, and I will leave you in peace." The pressure in the room was unbearable. The lantern went out. Darkness swallowed them. Mornike clutched Deo's hand tighter, whispering, "Don't speak, no matter what." The shadow bent close, its face an endless hole. Suddenly, it screamed with 100 voices at once. "Deo!" Her cousin's body shook violently, his lips trembling to respond. Mornike bit her own tongue, hard enough to taste blood, and shouted from her spirit. Not her mouth. "You cannot have him!" The rooster crowed. Light pierced through the thatch roof, striking the shadow. Twisted violently, screaming, until it collapsed into nothing. The room shook, then fell silent. When the lantern was relit, Deo was unconscious, his nose bleeding. But he was alive. On the floor where the shadow had stood was a single mark. 3 burnt footprints leading nowhere. By sunrise, Baba Alamu declared, "The Nameless One has been banished. His gate is closed. But remember this, spirits feed on attention. They only grow strong when we speak to them, when we answer, when we open doors with our fear." Mornike and Deo recovered slowly. But the villagers learned a lesson that would last generations. Never answer when a strange voice calls your name at night. For not every voice that knows you is truly human. Our world has doors that are better left shut. Fear, weakness, and curiosity are the keys that open them. Protect your spirit through prayer, discipline, and courage. And if you ever hear your name whispered in the dark, pause, listen, and remember. Silence can save your soul.